Hi, who likes polyhedra? Excellent, more polyhedron enjoys than I was even hoping for. This is great. And the timer hasn't started yet, that's even better. So in the next 5 minutes or so, I'm hoping to interest you in a class of polyhedra that you probably haven't thought about very much, if at all, but which I think are pretty cool and interesting and have some nice open problems associated with them, which are polyhedra whose faces, I really should say whose adjacent faces, meet at right angles except on one edge. For short, I like to call them almost orthogonal polyhedra. I chose that name because there's a reasonably well-established concept of an orthogonal polyhedron, which is a polyhedron whose adjacent faces always meet at right angles. Okay, so what's an orthogonal polyhedron? Here's one, the regular hexahedron, the favorite polyhedron of video game designers everywhere. And in fact, every convex orthogonal polyhedron is a box, not necessarily a cube, but is a box. So the interesting orthogonal polyhedra are not convex. We need to step outside the world of convexity to get more interesting. Like two cubes stuck together, for example. That's more interesting. Or two cubes stuck together at a jaunty angle. There is a slightly serious point here, which is the faces of an orthogonal polyhedron are not necessarily orthogonal polygons. You can see that face there, it's about to go away again, is not an orthogonal polygon. And of course, we can stick a whole bunch of boxes together in exciting ways. We can drill box-shaped holes out of some of the faces and stick more little boxes on and make some incredibly greeble thing out of boxes. But this is all very boxy. What can we do that isn't boxy? Here's a nice one. This is Jessen's orthogonal icosahedron, described by Birger Jessen in the 1960s. It has the combinatorics of a regular icosahedron, but adjacent faces always meet at right angles. It was also written about slightly later, but apparently independently, by the French mathematician Adrien Duhalde, who called it the six-beaked shaddock. I have no way of knowing if this is true, but I like to imagine that this name was inspired by the cartoon birds in the long-running French cartoon series, The Shaddocks, to which one of my teachers once unflatteringly compared me. Okay, so what about almost orthogonal polyhedra? To the best of my knowledge, precisely one almost orthogonal polyhedron has been described in the literature, which is this beautiful chap here. It was described by, or it was the construction of it was described by Jean-Pierre Sidley in 1965. A few years ago, Matthias Görner went through Sidley's description carefully and created this 3D model. And then in 2022, Henry Segerman, who you all know, who gave the first talk here this week, made a very nice video where he showed off a 3D model of this object and explained the history and meaning of it. And I saw that video, and that's what got me interested in this question, in particular, in the question of, surely there are some simpler polyhedra of this type. This one doesn't look very simple to me. So this was the first simpler one that I found. This has 8 faces. That long edge on the top there has a dihedral angle of about 109.5 degrees, the arc cosine of negative 1/3, to be precise. And there is a paper in the Gift Exchange which describes in a bit more detail how this one is constructed from the previous one. This one has a dihedral angle of 135 degrees. You can see it coming around there. Can you see it on the top there? That one's not a right angle. Oh, it's gone. It's on the bottom now. And if you take the complement of this with respect to a box, you get my favorite one, which has a 45-degree angle. You'll find a model of this in the Gift Exchange bag if you're participating in the Gift Exchange. If not, and you want one, I have some spares. Come and see me. I can give you a spare one of these. I think this is probably my favorite. So these are the names of the people I've mentioned. I wanted to write them down in case I mispronounced any of them so badly that you didn't know who I was talking about. But I still have 30 seconds left in order to get my dollar. So I'm going to show you a few more. Well, okay, so look, the interesting questions here are, what angles can we do this for, right? You've seen it for 45 degrees, 135 degrees. the arc cosine of negative 1/3. Those are the ones you've seen so far. What other angles can we do it for? 45 degrees, again, in a different way. Okay, that's not very exciting. How about 60 degrees? Can you see that 60-degree angle there? And this is an example. This is an example of a construction by which one can create any rational angle, in fact. And there are theoretical reasons to believe or to be sure that every angle that is realizable in this way must be algebraic in the sense that its sine and cosine are algebraic numbers. But we don't know whether all algebraic numbers can be angles can be so realized. We certainly don't know how to realize them. Here's 15 degrees, just another example of the same construction, but I like it because it's quite weird and complicated. Thank you very much.